Also, before I forget, I'm going to add a little bit of sulfuric acid, just a couple drops, to help precipitate any lead that might still be in there. Alright, so it's been cooking for about an hour now. I've been gradually adding nitric. It takes a little bit longer to do these CPUs than I thought. I kind of thought they would have dissolved right away. But let me see if I can pull one of them up. Yeah, there's still some chips in here, so I mean there's still gold pins on some of these chips. Not much, but I'll let it keep on cooking. Let me spray down the sides with distilled water. And even though we have a pretty good reaction, I'm going to add just a little bit more nitric and let this sit outside and boil. I'm going to put the lid back on and I'll check back when they're finished, when there's no more gold left on them. Alright, it looks like most of the gold is dissolved. I'm going to pour this in a funnel. I pre-wet the filter. Should probably let this cool down a little bit. Let me see. Yeah, I'm going to let this cool down a little bit, and then I'll start filtering it off in the filter in a separate flask, and then I'll show you what I'm left with. So it's filtering out pretty good. There's a lot of stuff floating on the top. I don't know what it is. I don't know whether it's lead or silver or other base metals. Like I said before, this is my first time doing these ceramic CPUs. I'll tell you right now, just by looking at this gold mixture that's coming out, this is gonna probably have to be refined twice. But it looks like all the gold dissolved in here. So it did a pretty good job dissolving all the gold. I'm gonna take a hammer, I'm gonna break up that little silicone die, because I don't know, I just have a feeling that there's something under that little die, so I'll be back in a second once I break it up. So it broke off at the worst spot, but yep, it definitely looks like there's gold under that die. So now I know better. Now I know you have to break these CPUs up, because otherwise there's going to be a little bit of gold trapped behind there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all these off and I'm going to dilute them also. So I'm going to remove all these dyes from all 20 CPUs. Alright, so I rinsed out my filter. I'm going to remove this. I'm going to put my filter in a separate little filter jar. And I'm going to pour this into a clean beaker. I want to make sure I rinse all this out. Sorry, there's my dog. Alright, I got everything out of the beaker. Actually, let me rinse it a little bit more. And now we're going to drop the gold with some SMB. Now, unfortunately, I made the mistake of my SMB. I didn't seal it up properly, and it actually kind of hardened. So hopefully this is going to be okay, but I'm going to take a little chunk. I hope this doesn't cause a disaster, and drop it in there. try to see if I can get some more. See it harden into these little chunks. Let me try to break it apart. That chunk was a mistake. It was just that's the good thing about this, is it's kind of a learning process. What I should have done is I should have heated that up in some distilled water and boiled it and just dissolved it, and then I would have added it that way. Let's see, let me break some more. Try to break some apart. And you know you've added enough when it starts to bubble on top, just plain white bubbles. Okay, that's definitely enough. I just added a giant chunk. I'm gonna break that up. I don't know if you can see it, it's just sitting on the bottom. I'm gonna keep breaking this up, and I'm gonna let the gold drop, and then we'll see what we're left with. This is what I was trying to show you. When you add some and it foams on top like that, that means you're pretty much good. So we'll let that sit, and then we'll see what we're left with.